You know, I love taking quotes and phrases and saying them just a little different, to reword them, to make them say the same thing, but just not the status quo. For instance, instead of saying that my wife is an angel, I say that if God would have given me anyone better, she'd have to have wings. Yeah, I know that was smooth. I know it was smooth. Ladies, if you hear a man say that, he got it from me. And fellas, if you say that, at least give me credit, okay? Come on now, you got to do that for me. But you know what I've learned is that some phrases or some quotes, they don't need to be reworded. They need to be retooled altogether. By show of hands, how many people have heard the phrase, go with the flow? Anybody? Okay. Well, I like to take that phrase out. I don't like saying go with the flow. I'd rather say don't go with the flow, direct it. Don't go with the flow, direct it. You know, so many of us have been in situations where we've been given a choice, whether we go along with what everybody else is doing or we go in a different direction. And if anything, if we had the influence, we could even change the direction of the whole situation. You know, the CEO of Google talks about a story he calls the cockroach theory. He says he was sitting in a coffee shop sipping a cup of coffee. All of a sudden he notices a roach flies in and lands on a lady's blouse. Of course, you know what happens? She stands up and she starts to try to get the roach out. She's brushing the roach, trying to get the roach out. She brushes the roach flies and lands on the shirt of another person in her dinner party. So what happens? They stand up and they start brushing and trying to get the roach, trying to get it off of them. And it caused a commotion. A waiter notices what's going on. He walks over and stands next to the second person. They're friendly, trying to get the roach off, and they eventually brush the roach off. The roach flies and lands on the waiter's shirt. The waiter stills himself, watches the roach, sees this pattern, and grabs the roach and takes the roach and throws it outside. You know, CEO of Google, he said, I noticed how that situation was handled differently by the people involved. Two people reacted to the roach. One person responded. Two people reacted, but one person responded. In order for you to be able to shape tomorrow, in order for you to be able to make an impact in the world in which you live, you can't react. You have to have a response. Have you ever been called by a telemarketer and you'll say something and then they'll say something else? They ask you a question, you'll give a response, and then they'll say something else. And it goes back and forth, and what you don't realize is that they are responding to what you say. You may be reacting to the questions, but they have a response. Because if you say this, then they say this. If you say this, then they say that. And they have a script. They have a pre-programmed, pre-written out script of how to handle any objection you may have. And that's the way we should be with life. We should be able to not just react, but respond. In order for us to be able to shape tomorrow, in order for us to be able to make a difference in the world in which we live, we have to be able to shape tomorrow. And look, I want to give you 3 things that you can do to shape your tomorrow. The first thing that you need to do is understand who you are, the person. That's right, understand who you are, the person. You know, the average person, you ask them if they know who they are, they'll say, of course I know who I am. But do you really? Do you really understand who you are? See, a lot of people, they just say, well, that's just the way I am. And see, my thing is this, it's not what you do. The question is, why do you do it? And how do you do that? You have to take a look at yourself, at your past, at your history, at stuff that has gone into making you who you are. Tendencies of issues with your family. I mean, all of those go into a mixing bowl and they get stirred up, and what pours out is you today. So if you never take the time to really take an objective look at yourself, at your history, at your past, at the things that are going on in your family, you will never truly know who you are. You can do that by talking to your parents, finding out from them, certain things that you didn't know, asking questions, being inquisitive. Find out from your grandparents, your aunts, and your uncles. They're more than willing to share that information, because you need to know, in order for you to be able to shape tomorrow and to make a difference, you need to know who you are. You need to know from whence you came. You need to know you need to understand that. Because when you know who you are, then no one can tell you something that's not true about you. For every man in this building, if I said I want all of the women to stand up, I wouldn't expect any man to move. Because he knows that doesn't apply to me. Because I know who I am. I know who I am. See, when you know who you are, no one can slap a label on you. No one can tell you or call you something that you're not. When you truly know who you are, you don't have to worry about being misguided or misled, because you know who you are. You understand who you are. The second thing that you need to do, the second thing in order for you to shape tomorrow, the second thing you need to do is to understand why you are here, the place. Understand why you are here, the place. And I'm not talking about a theological question as to why we're here on earth. I'm talking about, why are you here? Why are you at this point in your life? Why are you at this juncture? Why are you at this crossroads? Why are you here? In the city that you live in the situation that you're going through. Why are you here? If you understand that, if you look at the choices that you made that have put you in this position, then you'll be in a better place to understand the impact that you can make. If you understand why you are here, why certain people will listen to you, why when you go into a senior citizen's home, they tend to light up. You understand that you have a purpose in that place if you understand why you are here. But the third thing that you can do in order for you to shape tomorrow, not only do you need to understand who you are, the person, or understand why you're here, the place, but you need to understand the purpose of both of them. How they fit together. You need to understand why they're both significant, why they actually marry together. Mark Twain said it like this. He said the two most important days of your life are the day you were born and the day you found out why. And see, so many of us, we realize we have our birthday. We have it marked on the calendar. Every year we understand and we say, this is my birthday. But have we had a date that we understood why? Why was I born? Why am I here? Why was I born? What's my purpose? And so many people, they don't understand their purpose. They don't know, they can't connect the dots. But I believe if you take the time to understand who you are and understand where you are, you'll understand why you are. All it takes is you spending time in an objective moment to really look at yourself and ask the hard questions. Ask the right questions. Ask the tough questions. And don't settle for some fluff answers. Don't settle for some surface answer. I mean, really get down into the weeds and understand your history. Understand your purpose and your place in time. And then see how those two work together for you to truly be able to shape tomorrow. I want to finish with this illustration. And there's a difference between a leaf and a rock. A leaf, you take it, you can blow it, it can go anywhere. A rock, you let it go, it's going to drop and hit the ground. If you take a leaf and you put it in a river, it's going to go wherever the water takes it. But if you take a rock and put it in the river, you may not even see what happens, but what happens is the water goes around, it gets redirected around the rock. See, the leaf, it goes with the flow. But the rock, it directs it. You can take a bag full of leaves, a truck full of leaves, and dump them in the river. All they're going to do is go with the flow. They'll trickle down, they'll make their way down, but they won't have any impact on the river. But if you take a truck full of rocks and dump them in the river, if you have enough rocks, you can dam the river up. Talking about making a change, talking about affecting change, talking about shaping tomorrow. If you took the time to put that many rocks in the river, you can't help but see the change. And that's where we ought to be in our own lives. Don't be a leaf that's just blown with the wind, that just goes with the flow. But be a rock. Someone that affects change, that directs change, someone that can even stop change if it's not good. So don't go with the flow. Direct it. Look, my name is Sakoni Prince. Thank you.